My beloved child. There is something about you that confuses people. They look at you, listen to you, watch the way you carry yourself, and a quiet question begins forming in their minds. How old are you? Not because they are curious about a number. Not because they want to make conversation. But because something about you does not fit the expectations they have learned from the world. Your presence tells one story. Yet your age tells another. And that contradiction leaves them searching for answers they cannot easily explain. What they sense is not merely youth. What they notice is not simply maturity. It is something far rarer. Something deeper. Something that cannot be measured by years. Many have spent their lives trying to understand why certain souls seem untouched by time. Why some people grow older but lose none of their light. Why others carry wisdom far beyond what their age should allow. And why a select few possess a quiet magnetism that makes others stop, stare, and wonder. You are beginning to understand that this mystery lives within you. But before you dismiss these words, before you tell yourself that you are imagining things, listen carefully. Because what is being revealed today may explain experiences that have followed you for much longer than you realize. Have you noticed how strangers sometimes feel comfortable speaking to you? How people reveal personal truths they rarely share. How even those who have known you for only moments seem drawn toward your energy. There is a reason. And it is not accidental. The world teaches that attraction is built on appearance. But heaven understands a different truth. The strongest presence is never seen first. It is felt. Long before a person notices your face. Long before they know your story. They encounter something invisible. Something ancient. Something alive within your spirit. That is why people often struggle to place you. You carry traces of innocence and wisdom at the same time. Strength and gentleness. Calmness and power. The combination feels unusual because it is unusual. Most people spend years trying to become what you naturally embody. And yet, there is another layer to this mystery. One that few ever recognize. The charm others notice is not something you consciously created. In fact, there were seasons when you questioned your worth. Moments when you felt overlooked. Times when you wondered if anyone truly saw you. What you did not realize was that those hidden seasons were shaping something extraordinary. Every disappointment refined your compassion. Every challenge deepened your understanding. Every silent battle strengthened a part of you that could not be strengthened any other way. While others measured growth through birthdays, your soul was growing through experience. And that kind of growth leaves a mark. Not on the body. Not on the face. But on the energy you bring into every room. People sense it even when they cannot explain it. That is why they hesitate. That is why they look twice. That is why they seem surprised when they finally learn your age. Because the number does not match the depth they feel from you. Yet there is something even more remarkable happening. Something most people never notice. The charm that draws others toward you is not only affecting the present. It is preparing you for what comes next. A shift is approaching. A season unlike the one you have been walking through. And the qualities that make people question your age today will soon become the very qualities that open doors you never expected. But before those doors appear, before the next chapter begins to reveal itself, there is one truth about your rare charm that must be understood first. A truth hidden in plain sight. A truth that explains why certain opportunities seem to find you when you least expect them. And why certain people enter your life at precisely the right moment. And why certain people enter your life at precisely the right moment. This is where the mystery deepens. Because what others call coincidence, heaven often calls alignment. There are encounters that appear ordinary on the surface. A conversation. A chance meeting. A brief connection that seems insignificant at first. Yet months later, sometimes years later, you suddenly realize that moment changed everything. What many fail to understand is that your rare charm is not merely attracting attention. It is attracting alignment. The energy within you acts like a signal. Not a loud signal. Not one that demands recognition. But a quiet frequency that reaches exactly who it is meant to reach. This is why certain people feel instantly connected to you. And it is also why others seem strangely uncomfortable around you. Both reactions come from the same source. Your presence reveals things. Not because you force anything. Not because you try. But because authenticity has a way of exposing what is real. People who are comfortable with truth feel peace around you. People who are avoiding truth often feel unsettled. You may have noticed this pattern throughout your life. Some individuals trust you almost immediately. Others keep their distance without fully understanding why. Neither response is truly about you. It is about what your presence awakens within them. And this brings us to something remarkable. The charm people notice is not rooted in perfection. It is rooted in sincerity. The world is full of masks. Carefully crafted images. Performances designed to impress. Yet beneath all the noise, human hearts are still searching for something genuine. When they encounter someone who carries authenticity. Someone whose spirit feels real. The experience becomes unforgettable. That is what people are sensing. Not a flawless person. Not an ideal image. But a rare kind of honesty that cannot be manufactured. And the more life has tested you, the more valuable that honesty has become. Because every challenge removed something unnecessary. Every lesson stripped away another illusion. Every setback revealed another layer of strength. What remains today is not who you once thought you needed to be. It is who you were always becoming. This is why your age surprises people. They expect years to define a person. But your depth was never built by time alone. It was built by understanding. It was built by resilience. It was built by moments no one witnessed except heaven. There were battles you fought silently. Decisions you made when no one was watching. Tears you never explained. Prayers you never spoke aloud. And each one added something invisible to your spirit. Something people can feel even if they cannot name it. Yet here is the part few ever consider. Your greatest quality is not the wisdom you carry. It is the light you preserved. Despite everything. Despite disappointment. Despite uncertainty. Despite moments that could have hardened your heart. You remained open. You remained compassionate. You remained capable of hope. That is rare. Far rarer than most realize. Many people grow older and become guarded. But there are souls who grow older and become brighter. You belong among them. And that brightness creates a fascinating contradiction. You possess the depth of someone who has lived through many seasons. Yet the energy of someone who still believes beautiful things are possible. That combination is powerful. It is unforgettable. And it is precisely why people struggle to guess your age. They are witnessing two qualities that seldom exist together. Ancient wisdom. And living wonder. But there is another reason this message is finding you today. Because the next chapter of your journey will require both. The wisdom. And the wonder. The lessons you've learned. And the hope you've protected. Soon, situations will begin appearing that test whether you truly understand the value of what you carry. At first, these moments may seem small. A conversation. An invitation. An unexpected opportunity. A door opening where none existed before. Yet hidden within those moments will be something much greater. A confirmation. A sign. A glimpse of what has been quietly forming behind the scenes all along. And when that first sign appears, you may finally understand why your path had to unfold exactly as it did. Because your rare charm was never only meant to make people notice you. It was meant to prepare you for a purpose that has been moving toward you for far longer than you realize. And the first evidence of that purpose may arrive sooner than anyone expects, and the first evidence of that purpose may arrive sooner than anyone expects. Not with thunder. Not with dramatic announcements. Not with the kind of signs the world teaches people to watch for. Instead, it may arrive quietly. So quietly that you could almost miss it. A feeling. A realization. A sudden sense that something is shifting beneath the surface of your life. The strange thing about destiny is that it rarely introduces itself all at once. It unfolds in layers. One revelation leading to another. One answered question uncovering an even greater mystery. And right now, whether you fully recognize it or not, you are standing at the edge of one of those moments. A threshold. A crossing point between who you have been and who you are becoming. That is why so much feels different lately. The old patterns no longer fit. Certain conversations no longer satisfy you. Certain environments feel strangely limiting. Even some goals that once seemed important now feel incomplete. You are not losing your direction. You are outgrowing what was never meant to hold your future. Growth often feels confusing before it feels exciting. A seed does not understand why the shell around it begins to crack. It only knows that something familiar is falling away. Yet what seems like an ending is actually the beginning of expansion. The same is happening within you. And this is connected to the rare charm people notice more than you realize. Because the quality that makes others question your age is the same quality preparing you for this next season. You have learned how to remain grounded while continuing to evolve. You have learned how to carry wisdom without becoming cynical. You have learned how to remain hopeful without becoming naive. These are not ordinary achievements. These are spiritual strengths. Strengths that cannot be purchased. Cannot be borrowed. Cannot be imitated. They must be earned. And you have earned them through experiences that shaped you in ways few people fully understand. There is something else you should know. Many of the qualities others admire in you are qualities you rarely recognize in yourself. You see your flaws. You see your mistakes. You see the moments when you doubted your own path. But others often see something completely different. They see resilience. They see calmness under pressure. They see kindness that survives disappointment. They see someone who continues moving forward even after facing reasons to stop. What feels ordinary to you appears extraordinary to them. That is why people are often surprised when they learn your age. Because they assume such depth must have taken far longer to develop. Yet the truth is that your soul has been paying attention. Learning. Absorbing. Growing. Even during seasons when it felt like nothing was happening. And now those unseen lessons are beginning to reveal their value. Think about the moments when life delayed something you desperately wanted. At the time, it felt frustrating. Perhaps even unfair. You wondered why certain doors remained closed. Why certain plans unraveled. Why certain opportunities slipped away. But imagine for a moment that those delays were not punishments. Imagine they were preparations. Imagine that timing was protecting something greater than you could see. Because there are blessings that require a specific version of you. A stronger version. A wiser version. A version capable of carrying success without losing balance. And every experience you've lived through has been helping shape that version. This is why comparison has never served your journey. You were never meant to unfold according to someone else's timeline. Your path follows a rhythm uniquely designed for you. A rhythm that often appears slow before it suddenly reveals its brilliance. A rhythm that rewards patience in ways impatience can never understand. And soon, very soon, you may begin noticing evidence that things are moving. Not necessarily faster, but deeper. More intentionally. More clearly. As though pieces that once seemed disconnected are finally beginning to form a complete picture. When that happens, remember this moment. Remember that your value was never hidden inside a number. Not in the years behind you. Not in the years ahead. Your value has always been rooted in the light you carry. The wisdom you embody. The compassion you extend. The authenticity you protect. These are the treasures people feel when they encounter you. These are the reasons your presence lingers in their minds long after you've left the room. Yet the most important revelation has not arrived yet. Because there is one final truth about your rare charm. A truth that changes everything once it is understood. A truth that explains why your influence reaches farther than you think. Why your words often carry more weight than you realize. And why the next season of your life may become one of the most meaningful chapters you have ever experienced. And why the next season of your life may become one of the most meaningful chapters you have ever experienced. The final truth is this. Your rare charm was never meant to be admired. It was meant to be shared. For a long time, you may have believed your impact was measured by grand achievements. Large audiences. Major milestones. Visible recognition. But heaven often works through a different scale. A quieter one. A deeper one. The most powerful influence is not always the most obvious. Sometimes it is a single conversation that changes someone's direction. A single act of kindness that restores someone's hope. A single moment of understanding that helps another person believe in themselves again. And whether you realize it or not, you have already created moments like these. More than once. More than you know. Because people do not simply remember how you look. They remember how they felt around you. They remember the peace. The encouragement. The sense that they were seen without being judged. That is a gift. And gifts are never given without purpose. This explains something that may have puzzled you for years. Why people often seek your perspective. Why they return to your words. Why they trust your presence even when they cannot explain the reason. It is because authenticity creates safety. And safety allows truth to emerge. You carry that quality naturally. Not because life has always been easy. But because life taught you the value of compassion. The world has enough voices competing for attention. What it desperately needs are souls capable of offering understanding. That is where your strength lives. Not in demanding to be noticed. But in making others feel noticed. Not in proving your worth. But in helping others remember theirs. This is why your influence extends farther than you can see. Every encouraging word. Every thoughtful gesture. Every moment you chose patience instead of frustration. Those moments created ripples. And ripples travel farther than the eye can follow. Many of the seeds you planted through simple acts of goodness are still growing. Some are growing in places you have forgotten. Some are growing in people you may never meet again. Yet growth is happening all the same. Nothing genuine is ever wasted. Nothing rooted in love disappears. Nothing offered from the heart returns empty. That is one of heaven's quiet laws. And now another chapter is beginning. A chapter where you stop underestimating what you carry. A chapter where you stop measuring yourself against timelines, expectations, or numbers. A chapter where you begin recognizing the extraordinary value of your presence. Because your age was never the story. Your spirit was. The number attached to your years may surprise people. But the light within you is what leaves them speechless. The wisdom. The grace. The calm confidence that comes from becoming who you were meant to be. These qualities cannot be manufactured. They cannot be copied. They can only be lived. And you have been living them for longer than you realize. So when people seem shocked after learning your age, smile. Not because you fooled anyone. Not because you need their validation. But because it is a reminder that something beautiful exists within you that time alone cannot explain. You are proof that depth does not always arrive slowly. That wisdom does not always wait for old age. That genuine charm is not created by appearance. It is revealed through character. And as you move forward from this moment, carry this truth with you. The qualities that make you different are not obstacles. They are part of your assignment. The sensitivity, the insight, the resilience, the warmth, the quiet strength. They were placed within you for a reason. The world needs more of what you carry. And the days ahead will provide opportunities to share it in ways you cannot yet imagine. So walk forward with confidence. Walk forward with gratitude. Walk forward knowing that your greatest years are not behind you. They are unfolding now. One meaningful moment at a time. One divine appointment at a time. One beautiful revelation at a time. And when the next door opens, when the next blessing arrives, when the next chapter begins to reveal itself, you will finally understand why your journey unfolded exactly as it did. Because every lesson, every delay, every victory, and every challenge was quietly preparing you to become the person you are today. A person whose age may surprise people, but whose spirit inspires them. And that is a rare kind of beauty that never fades. But before you leave this moment behind, there is one last whisper from heaven that needs to reach your heart. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. Because there are people who will spend their entire lives searching for what you already possess. They will chase approval. They will chase status. They will chase endless validation from a world that changes its standards every day. Yet what they seek cannot be found there. Because true radiance is not something the world gives. It is something the soul remembers. And your soul remembers more than you realize. It remembers every time you chose faith over fear. Every time you stood back up after disappointment. Every time you remained kind when bitterness would have been easier. Those moments were not small. They were sacred. The world may have overlooked them. But heaven did not. Not a single one. That is why there is a quiet confidence beginning to awaken inside you. Perhaps you have felt it recently. A subtle shift. A growing certainty. A feeling that you no longer need to prove yourself to everyone around you. Because something deeper is happening. You are beginning to see yourself through a clearer lens. Not through criticism. Not through comparison. Not through the opinions of people who never understood your journey. But through truth. And truth changes everything. When you know who you are, you stop chasing what was never meant for you. When you know your value, you stop shrinking to fit places that cannot appreciate it. When you know your purpose, you stop fearing every closed door. Because you understand that what belongs to you cannot miss you. Read that again within your spirit. What belongs to you cannot miss you. The opportunities meant for you. The connections meant for you. The growth meant for you. The blessings meant for you. They are moving according to a timing greater than human understanding. And while you wait, you are not standing still. You are becoming. Becoming stronger. Becoming wiser. Becoming more aligned with the person you were created to be. One day, someone will ask your age. They will hear the number. And once again they will look surprised. But by then, You will understand the reason. It was never about looking younger. It was never about appearing older. It was never about the years at all. It was about the light. The light that remained through every season. The light that survived every storm. The light that continued shining even when nobody applauded it. That light is your signature. That light is your testimony. That light is your gift. And no calendar has the power to measure it. So hold your head high. Not in pride, but in gratitude. Because you have come farther than you know. You have grown more than you realize. And the story being written through your life is far from finished. In fact, some of the most beautiful pages have not yet been turned. Some of the greatest joys have not yet arrived. Some of the most meaningful connections have not yet appeared. And some of the most extraordinary moments are waiting just beyond the horizon. Closer than they seem. So keep walking. Keep believing. Keep becoming. The world may be surprised by your age. But heaven is delighted by your spirit. And the best is still unfolding. Even now.